Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. Alright, so good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. Today is Tuesday, February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day. I don't even know what happened. Like, the groundhog, what does it matter anyways, right? We're still in a pandemic, so it doesn't really matter. And, I live in Boston, so the weather's trash anyway, so whatever. If we have more snow, whatever, But I hope everyone's having a good week, good time, good life. I don't know. I didn't even record an episode Sunday because I was really retreating. I've been retreating, just like trying to enjoy my time alone. Make the most of this time alone instead of looking at it as like in a negative sense of like, dang, I gotta be in the house again, yeah, it sucks, but at least I get to be, just look at the positives of it. So I was able to do that this weekend, trying to chill out, relax my body, as I've been working out too, so I needed that day to just relax. Sunday, so I didn't even record, but I was listening to another podcast and it made me think of an episode that I'm doing this episode right now. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, because that's a real, like that's an old song from Ice Cube, right? And I feel like the meaning of that is pretty relevant, at least to me, because sometimes you get yourself in situations and that can mess you up. And whether it be because, like, sometimes I know for me, like, being impatient, like wanting something and feeling like, all right, dang, it ain't happening fast enough, or God's not making it happen fast enough, so let me help out a little bit, but that could end up wrecking you because you're doing something or ending up in a situation where you weren't supposed to be anyway. So, and I feel like in this times, everyone's going through stuff, the pandemic has really turned things around, and we say it like over and over again, like how it's crazy, but it is crazy, and there's a lot of stuff going on beyond just like what's going on outside. Is a lot of personal things that go on too. People are struggling with things personally, and sometimes you feel like, dang, like, is this the new normal? Like, is this how we really gonna be living? Like, what about, it kind of puts you in a perspective, like, dang, like, there were a lot of things that I was trying to do for myself, and now it's like, am I gonna be able to do them, or is it gonna be the same? Like, so there's a lot of unanswered questions that people have that affects your mood and the way you interact with others. Also, right now it's Mercury retrograde, so that's supposed to mess with your communication, and it impacts like certain signs. I know Virgo is one of them. For me, whoop-de-doo. So I'm trying to see if I can find out what signs definitely affects like shadow work too. But also hopefully you guys were able to check and listen to the episode that I was on, the interview that I did, the podcast, she interviewed me. Her podcast is called My Virgo Friend Podcast, and her name is Chi Chi, and we did it was a really good interview. So definitely check that out. I had the link on my page. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun to just not have to be the one to interview and like to be able to discuss topics without having to come up with questions and everything, and just be asked the questions. It was a good little break for me, and I felt like it was good just to have that conversation with her. I thought it was really a good conversation. I enjoyed it. So let's see, the signs that are affected are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Okay, what? Aquarius. Interesting. I don't know if that's right, to be honest. Well, it says, yeah, that's what it says. Interesting. But Mercury retrograde, is from January 30th to February 21st. Which is trash. So it's a lot of, if you've been feeling weird, or your emotions are all over the place, it's the Mercury retrograde is in full effect. It's giving you time to like reevaluate, recommunicate, renegotiate, like retreat, release, a lot of redos of things, a lot of evaluation. So yeah, do that. All right, so the topic at hand, check yourself before you wreck yourself. So to get back to that, I felt like lately I've been feeling like I've been so, to be honest, because I know like I not preach, but I talk about a lot of positivity and like letting things go and flow and just kind of living in the moment or going with the flow. But it's hard. It's hard when you don't even know where you're flowing to. And it's hard. You have to have that balance of going with the flow, but also still having a destination, because kind of going with the flow can get you lost. You don't want to just end up somewhere that isn't good for you. And you have to be able to check in with yourself, make sure that you're making the right decisions for yourself, because it's easy to get into a habit of say you're in a situation with someone and things are not necessarily going well or how you want them to, and it's easy to automatically blame that person. But that's when I say you have to check yourself, because everything that happens in your life is a decision that you made. You chose to interact with this person. You chose to give them the time of day. You chose to allow them in, or you chose to give this person money, or whatever the situation may be. Everything is a choice, that happens in your life. So if your life is not going well, quote unquote, or not where you want it to be, that's because of you, because of some choices that you made, and not to say that, you're a bad person or, you deserve it. It's just like you have to take accountability for where you are in life, because at the end of the day, your life is your own. And that's why I say check yourself, because before you wreck yourself, or at least if you're starting to wreck yourself, you can check yourself and pull back and redirect yourself. There's always times that you can redirect yourself, usually. And so yeah, just make sure you're on the right path for yourself, and that you are doing what you're supposed to do. And if you aren't, then pull back, renegotiate, reevaluate, release what you need to release, reconnect where you need to connect. I know Mercury retrograde is like a time where people come back, and make sure you're being careful with that, like any exes or anybody or old relationships or something that didn't work out. Just be careful with that if you choose to do that. To each his own, obviously, but making sure that it's the right choice for you. And yeah, check in with yourself, because you really, it's a needed thing when you're constantly going, and you have this list of things that you might have to do for yourself, or you have work, school, blah blah blah, and you just keep going. You don't want to overexhaust yourself, and you want to make sure that you're still on a good path for yourself, because things change, people change, desires change, things change, and that's part of life. And you have to make sure that you don't lose sight of what works for you. You can take this time to really converse with yourself, and make sure that are you good? Like, are you happy? Are the people that you have in your life, are they bringing you happiness? Because we already got the crazy stuff that goes on outside. So when you come home, or when you have the certain people that you interact with, do they bring you joy? Do they lift you up and keep your spirits high despite everything that's going on? Or are they adding to the stress? Because you don't need to add on unnecessary stress, at least not knowingly, And check yourself, because sometimes you are the problem, and that's okay, because we've all been the problem. I know I've been the problem. And it's a part of being human, but making sure that once you realize that you are the problem, what can you do to fix it, and make sure that you can make better choices, not only for yourself, but for other people too. And the way you choose to interact with people, the way you choose to handle situations. Are you giving your best? Are you behaving your best? Are you bringing your best attitude and positivity? Or are you, I appreciate someone who, at first I kind of took offense to it, because I'm like, well, I had someone say like, oh, I can't come around because I'm not in the best of mood today. And I'm like, dang, what you mean you can't? What does that have to do with me? Like, because I'm just like, well, I'm not putting you in a bad mood. But you have to kind of take a step back and look at that situation. It's like, okay, well, this person is clearly in tune enough with themselves, and they respect you enough that they don't want to bring that negative energy, that whatever they're going through, around you. And that's a form of checking yourself before you wreck yourself, because if that person had came around me in a crappy mood and, said something, or I said something to set them off or something like that, it could have potentially ruined that relationship. So that's an example of what I mean by checking yourself before you wreck yourself, because sometimes you do need to step back and be in solitude and not really mess with people like that for a little bit. Kind of let yourself figure out what's going on. Because I know for me, sometimes I say it a lot, I think, in this podcast, but I'm working on it. Like, I'm not always in tune with my feelings as best as I could be. Really, I might feel something and just run from it, or I don't do a good job of expressing it, or I like overanalyze it, because I'm like, there's no way that's what I'm on right now. And I've learned now, and I'm still, like I said, I'm working on it, to check myself. Like, if I'm feeling something, good or bad, allow myself to feel it. Don't wreck yourself, because you can wreck yourself by suppressing feelings or not expressing yourself when you're upset, or even when you're happy. Like, if you have feelings for someone or something like that, like not suppressing it or feeling like you have to move about in a certain way to express them. Like, no, just say what's on your mind, say what you feel. So I encourage you guys to really take the time to check yourself, check in with yourself. Don't wreck yourself. Don't wreck certain relationships or friendships or whatever you have going on, just because you're not allowing yourself to feel something or check in with yourself and see, like, how are you doing, you know? And if you're not doing well, why aren't you doing well? And figure that out, you know? And if you are someone who is causing problems for someone else, like, check that, you know? No one, just as much as you don't deserve to be treated badly, some other people don't deserve to be treated badly either. And if you're doing that because you have some internal stuff going on, then check in with yourself and figure out, you know, take that time for solitude to release whatever's going on. Whether you could write it down, talk to yourself, I don't know, whatever, however you do, but release anything that you're holding on to, any issues or feelings or problems that you're holding on to. Let it go, release it, and make sure that you're trying your best in these times, to be positive, but also to just feel. I know that it's easy to become numb and I know for me, it's hard to think about the future in a positive light, because it's like, what does that even mean? You know, like, I don't even know what the summer is going to look like. I don't even know, like I said, like, there are a lot of things that I want to do, and I'm not saying that I'm giving up or to lose hope on, you know, that you'll be able to achieve or accomplish or have the things that you want, but it's hard because everything is so different right now, where it's just like, before it seemed like, okay, that's how I know the steps that I need to take to get what I want, and now it's like, there's a lot of detours that have been thrown in the way, and it's like, sometimes you get to a point where you're like, hey, I don't have the energy for this, you know? Like, I know I'm not the only person. I can't be the only person who's just like, I can't even be a listening ear or anything like that to anybody else, because I got my own problems, you know? And, or just feeling like, dang, I just had a thought in my head, in relation to what I'm talking about. Sorry. Shoot. What I was trying to say, yeah, just like, dang, I hate when that happens. Oh yes, I was gonna say, like, I just want to, like, I was thinking about it today. I was like, I don't want to have no more problems. I miss being able to have my adult problems but still live my life, you know? Like, I just want to do hood rat things with my friends. Like, I just want to have fun. I just want to just do things on my own terms, and I hate being restricted, and I feel like since March of 2020, I've been restricted. I feel like I've done my best to still enjoy my time, but it's hard. And obviously you have to just keep going and get through it and try to have that light at the end of the tunnel and still believe that things are going to work out, and, you know, everything happens for a reason, and try to find the lessons and stuff. But sometimes I'm tired of learning lessons, man. You know, like, I don't want any more lessons. And it's hard, especially when, for me, I began my spiritual journey in 2019, like towards the end, like I talked about that obviously in the beginning, like 2019. So going into 2020, and then having to experience the pandemic and everything that came with that, and all the trials that came with my life, plus just learning who I am as a woman and redefining that, and the further and further deeper that you get into your spiritual self, and just the shadow work. I discussed that in that interview, and that's some real stuff, like having to deal with childhood trauma and dealing with why you are the way you are. I actually ordered some books, and I'll post them when they come. It's some books on shadow work that I really wanted to I really want to read, because I feel like you have to, again, like I said, check yourself. Like, if you feel like you're going through the same cycles and you feel like you keep hitting the same lessons over and over, that's the universe telling you that you need to learn this lesson, and make different choices. But also, it's just a way to check in with yourself. Like, it can't always be other people. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you are the cause of your own demise and the cause of your own problems. And that's okay. Again, it's just taking the time to acknowledge that. And then now what are you going to do? I found this quote. It says, check yourself. Often when you find your life in ashes, it was you who supplied the matches. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's true, right? Like, when your life is messed up and when your life is quote unquote messed up, right? According to you, for whatever that might look like, you can be quick to be like, oh dang, like this person, or if I hadn't made this choice, or if I hadn't gone here, or if I hadn't paid for this, or if I hadn't done this, then my life wouldn't be how it is right now. But at the end of the day, those were all personal choices that you still made, and where you're human, so obviously you can't know everything and know that those choices were going to lead to that. But it's taking accountability for it, excuse me. And knowing that, okay, all right, my life is in ashes right now, right? And I'm the one who supplied the matches. I lit the fire. I caused this. But now what am I going to do to solve it and make sure that I don't, A, end up in this predicament again, and B, that when I see certain things happen, now I can recognize them as red flags to not put myself in the same position again, if that makes sense. So it's part of it is taking accountability. A part of it is just accepting that you're human, but also just realizing that life is a series of choices, and it's your choices that you make no matter what. Because even if you get advice from whoever and you choose to go with it, you still made the choice to go with it, right? You still could make your own choices and do things how you want to do. So it's just realizing that your life is your own and your choices are your own. And sometimes those choices end up putting you in a bad position. Doesn't mean you're horrible, but it just means, all right, now you have to make different choices or change the direction, or it might take you, now it's going to take you a little bit longer to get to your destination. I want to just basically encourage you guys to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check in with yourself. Make sure that are you happy? Like, are you good? Not even happy, but are you good? Like, are you okay? Because I know there's let me find another thing that I saw. Something I saw on Instagram. It said a definition of a word: pandemic fine. A state of being in which you are employed and healthy during a pandemic, but you're also tired and depressed and feel like trash all the time. And that was like, I could relate, because I'm like, all right, I really, like, sometimes we get into this mindset of like, all right, well, if I'm alive, I'm breathing, I got food to eat, and I have a job, and I'm, still technically okay, then I really don't have an issue to complain about, right? But at the same time, you're like, dang, I'm tired, I'm depressed, like, that really hit me the other day, like, dang, like, you low-key might be a little depressed right now. You might need to retreat, or you're not feeling that great because of your situation. And for me, like I said, I hate being restricted, and I hate feeling stuck, and I don't like feeling like that. I want to go where I want to go, I don't like being held down, and being in that type of mindset or in that state for almost a year, that is like really frustrating to me. And I don't know if other people can relate to that, but I'm getting restless. I'm like, all right, I've had enough of this charade. Like, we need to wrap this up. And I know that just because you're saying that doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just accepting that things are different now, and learning how to adjust and allowing yourself to adjust. And what does that even look like for you? Like, what does adjusting look like for you? You know, because for me, it's ever changing, because I still have things that I'm trying to do and figure out, and a lot of it is just doing it on my own. And you also want to be wary of not being a burden to others by, you want to reach out to your friends or family or whoever and be like, yo, like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm this and that. I'm like, but you're like, make sure you're checking in with people, because other people are feeling the same thing. Like I feel like it was like, okay, well, most of the people, everyone's having like their everyday life. This is pre-pandemic that I'm talking about. You might have a problem or two, but 9 times out of 10, everyone else isn't having the same problem or going through the same thing, right? Everyone had their own different problems that kind of made it easy to flow. And, you might listen to someone else's problem and you're like, oh, well, you know what? Life ain't that bad, But now it's like everyone pretty much has their own personal problems, has their own personal growth that they're doing, things that happen in their lives. Plus you have the pandemic. So everyone is experiencing the pandemic and like how that restricts us and what is that doing for us and those worries that come with it. Plus you have your own personal stuff that you going through too. So it's just a lot of baggage to carry. And some of it is not even stuff that you really, what are we going to do? You can't throw away the pandemic. Like, that's not something that we can necessarily, a form of baggage that you can necessarily get rid of right now. So it's just, I would say, take it easy. I know it's easier, it's probably said than done. And try to keep your head above water. Don't be too hard on yourself. Because you're not the only one. You're not the only one who's struggling in whatever form that means. And reach out to people. You can reach out to me if you want to. And to talk about whatever, might be bothering you. And it's okay to take breaks from social media or friends, family, take that time for yourself. Be in solitude. And allow yourself to be in your thoughts, which is also can be a little scary too, because that's when you really start to think about everything and feel things. And if you have like an overflow of feelings, that can be very overwhelming. So allow yourself to do it in pieces. But don't think you're alone. And at the same time, check yourself. Like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that can mean so many different things. A lot of the explanations that I gave, but I would say the takeaway from that is just make sure you're good and make sure you're making the right choices for yourself. And we're already in a weird space, and we already have a lot of negative things that can go wrong. Don't put yourself in a position to add to that, if that makes sense. Try your best to make the best decisions for you to keep you afloat, keep your head above water. And things will get better. I have no idea when, but they will. And try to look at the bright side of things and be there. I don't know, did I ever post that? I don't know if I posted that to my page, but there's a quote from a song that I like. Every person that comes in your life is here for a limited time, so be fair, be there. And that's true, especially with COVID and stuff. It's like every person that comes in your life is for a reason, and we're only here for a limited time, so be fair, be there as much as you can. And that means be there for yourself too, and be there for others. These are tough times, so don't forget to tell your friends and your family that you love them. And I know it sounds like, oh, like they already know, but still, sometimes you might save somebody by like just texting them or calling them and saying, hey, you good? Like, I'm just checking in with you. I love you, because some people are living alone and they're not getting that. You're not getting that physical touch, that those words of affirmation and stuff. And obviously you have to give it to yourself, but again, god dang, sometimes you want it from somebody else too. So make sure you guys are checking in with yourself and checking in with others. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I'm talking about. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Keep your head above water, and take it easy. Don't be too hard on yourself. I feel like I say that a lot, but it's the truth. And let's hope things get better. So I hope the rest of your week is pretty smooth. I hope you enjoy this episode. And as always, meditate, manifest, invest in you. I don't know why I was about to just demolish that. And yeah, I'm trying to stay afloat and keep the episodes coming. So I know I said I was gonna do that, and I was really gonna promise that. So I'm really gonna try to do that. So yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your week, though. If I am gonna try to find out what that groundhog happened, with the weather. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. Hopefully things get better by summer. I hope we can have a good summer, man. I'm really hoping for that. But anyway, meditate, manifest, invest in you. And thank you for listening to Black Hippie Lounge. This is your host, Chanel. And have a great day.